Thank you so much, Lisa, for singing the song by Daniel Nahmod, That One. And that song just can't help but awaken the passion for life. So, our weekly title today is Passionately Living Your Purpose Out Loud. This whole month, we've been talking about my passion, my purpose. And this whole year, we're talking about living out loud. So, passionately living your purpose out loud. Oh gosh, the song just lifts us and brings us light, and oftentimes I think we could just end with that. I love having the song be the message. And so our opening argument for today, here it is. Actually, it's often called the marketing teaser, but here we go. Our passion ignites our purpose, and as we align ourselves with that inner feeling, we transform it to the next level, sharing it outwardly. The time has come to confidently embrace our purpose and step fully into our co-created new expression. Oh my gosh, that sounds like such a wonderful idea, doesn't it? It's just like, yes, let's do it. Let's live out loud. And as I was preparing this talk, it occurred to me, I am the last person to be talking about passionately living my purpose out loud because I am basically, okay, you might not believe this, I'm basically an introvert. I really don't live out loud in most senses of the word. And I'm just a low-key person. Okay. I'm low-key. I'm not overly effusive. I don't anger easily. And I'm not terribly reactive. And so I'm thinking, well, how can I possibly talk about living my passion out loud, living my purpose out loud passionately? Holy cow, I do not know. I don't even know what to say because I like the middle ground. I like this even keel, smooth sailing. Okay, so you get the idea. But this is what I know. The universe does not make mistakes. We're all here by divine appointment to add to the expansion of the world. And so this subject, passionately living your purpose, is an opportunity for me to explore that. So, as I do, I said, well, where can I look for inspiration? Where can I look for inspiration? And I realized that we just came from a place where there was 7,000 people living their passion. We recently returned from the Parliament of the World's Religions in Chicago. There were 7,000 people there representing 95 countries, 210 faith traditions. Who knew there was that many? And there was just a plethora of seminars, workshops, and worship opportunities. And talk about passionately living your purpose. Well, here's a sampling of what we experienced. I know that went by really fast, and let me tell you, the whole week went by really fast. A couple things that were interesting to note in there is one, we saw hot metal being pounded, and that was actually a group that had brought guns, and they were pounding the guns into artwork and into crosses and into tools that could be used, gardening tools. So that was what that piece was. Another piece we saw was just a flash of the six that were there. They were feeding the multitudes. So basically, they fed 3,000 people a day in their tent that was just outside of the convention center. And so, no charge, you can't give them anything, they won't accept anything. This is part of their spiritual practice. And it's always, always impressive. We did a lot of workshops there. We heard a lot of people speak. The mayor of Chicago came and spoke to us for his allotted 8 minutes. And it was just a wonderful time to be with people who are celebrating their faith tradition and coming together to do that. What I want to bring to your attention are two movies that we viewed. The first one was a biographical documentary of the Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh. And this is narrated by actor Peter Coyote. It's called A Cloud Never Dies. And it weaves together the original film and photographs and tells the story of this humble young Vietnamese monk and poet whose wisdom and compassion were forged in the suffering of war. In the face of violence, fear, and discrimination, Thich Nhat Hanh's courageous path of engaged action reveals how insight, community, and a deep aspiration to serve the world can offer hope, peace, and a way forward for millions. You'll find that on YouTube with that exact description. And to get an idea, let's watch the trailer together.
He is a global spiritual leader, a scholar, a peacemaker, a writer, and a poet. Revered worldwide for his teachings on mindfulness, he remains a humble Buddhist monk. Thich Nhat Hanh has written over 100 books, read by millions worldwide. Martin Luther King publicly nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize. But how did this unassuming seeker from central Vietnam confront the horrors of war and emerge as a spiritual pioneer, bringing the Buddha's teachings to the West to become a force for change in the world?
So you can pick that up on YouTube, and I will put in the URL after my talk, put it in the chat. So here's another movie. Another movie we saw, we mentioned last week. It is called With This Light. This tells the story of Sister Maria Rosa. And during her 70 years as a nun, she helped over 87,000 Honduran children escape poverty and violence through an ecosystem of social, educational, entrepreneurial projects, inspiring an international network of supporters. With This Light poetically interweaves the compelling present-day stories of these teenagers with the epic life and noble actions of Sister Maria Rosa. Note that the trailer here was in Spanish with English subtitles. I have dubbed it in English, so let's watch that trailer now. In Honduras, the poverty indexes are alarming. There are more than 2,600,000 orphaned children as a result of the violence. Sister, tell us about these 70 years of consecration and love to those who are most in need. As long as there's a suffering child in the street, Maria Rosa cannot be happy. I believe that to work with God, one has to be a bit naughty, a bit crazy. When I was young, I saw kids who suffered a lot. I thought someday I will build houses and take all these kids. I didn't ask for permission. We all know that Honduras has become dangerous. Children get lost in the streets.
There are 87,000 young people who have lived in our homes. Great people that would have been lost if we'd said no. What future would I have had without Soul? I can't feel proud of what we've done. There's still much to achieve. The lives we can make better. Give them a ray of happiness. Now we're going to start to live a new life, a life full of light, with this light. The man who can give me orders has not been born. I'm very sorry.
So that is a couple of examples that you can see of people passionately living their purpose. And this is where I look for my inspiration. And also looking within for that divine inspiration. See, we are perfect co-creators with Spirit in order to accentuate our unique passion and purpose. And so if my passion and purpose is not to, well, not to even make the videos, not even be that person who goes out and saves souls, maybe my purpose is to bring it to you, to a wider audience. So it's our spirit infused responsibility to share our gifts authentically, whatever it is that we have. And I know most of us at this time in our lives are not looking to start a new career or something, but we do have the opportunity to live a passionate life. We just finished the Art of Abundance study with Dennis Merritt Jones, and I love his 10 rules. And you'll have to get the book to look at the 10 rules. But I will tell you, number 6 is be passionate. Be passionate. And he talks about what does it mean to do what is yours to do. This is what he says. He says, simply put, it means that when you were born, you arrived here predisposed with certain unique gifts and innate talents that were meant to be used. You came on a mission of sorts and were equipped to succeed on that mission. And when you align your passion with those gifts and talents, you will have discovered what it is that's yours to do. This is the journey you were born to take. So again, what I know is that we are co-creators in this realm. And we're not here to blindly stumble through, although I've done a pretty good job of that, but to create a painting that may inspire and positively impact others. And we've come into this space at this time to give form to that potential. Christian Sorensen is the senior minister at the Seaside Church, and he has a book, Living from the Mountaintop. And he says, without you, infinite potential remains just that, potential. It stays unformed possibility. It is you who are needed by life for its potential to take form. So we are totally necessary. We are the hands, the feet, the voice of Spirit on earth. And as we know, thoughts are things. And so this concentrated thought forms are that beginning of a physical manifestation. So everything is energy. We know that everything is energy. And when our focused energy vibrates on the same wavelength of our visualized outcome, then that's when the shift happens. Ernest Holmes tells us there's nothing from which to make things except ideas. In the beginning, we behold nothing visible. There's only infinite possibility, a limitless imagination of consciousness. Oh, which reminds me, on the first day there was void and there was nothing, and God said, let there be light. And you know what happened? There was light, and then they could see that there was nothing. So, guided by our passion, we have an inner compass that knows what to do and when to do it. I should know this, right? Our essential self shouts yes as we align with the direction it's pointing us to. So, we've been placed here in this universe to share what can only be expressed by us. Qualities that our soul came to offer were embedded in our being before we were born. They are factory installed equipment. Again, referring to the art of abundance, Dennis Merritt Jones writes this. He says, what if the universe really is conspiring for your success? What if intentionally doing what you love and loving what you do, you're enabling the universe to do its part? A word of caution here, do not be lulled into thinking that passion alone is the magic bullet that will save you from having to do your part, because it's not. It's also about working smart. He continues, so what is your part? Perhaps it's time to redefine what that is. Just as water following the call of gravity cannot resist flowing downhill, when you are intelligently and passionately engaged in life, in the present moment, following the call of that which is yours to do, you're not resisting the flow. You have harnessed and become one with that flow. And your part is to wisely discern what brings you the most joy in life and commit to it by setting an intentional, intelligent plan in motion to get you there. Yeah, that's the part. Setting an intentional, intelligent plan in motion to get you there. And I've decided that plan it may not always be conscious. I have set some unconscious intentions in motion and they came into being. I remember one time I was surprised to find myself preparing to go on a dive trip in the Caribbean. And I thought, what am I doing? I am not a water person. I am an earth sign and I like the earth. Water, not so much. So I find myself, you know, buying a mask and snorkel and these things. I'm thinking, what are you doing? I have no idea what you're doing. And then I looked at my last treasure map or mind map. And on that, there is a very clear picture of a person snorkeling. And I said, oh, well, no wonder I'm going on this dive trip. I put it on my treasure map. So when I put it on there, I was looking for the feeling of floating, the feeling of being free. But what I manifested was that snorkeling trip. So following those guideposts along the way, there are no mistakes, no accidents in life. Everything unfolds according to our belief systems. Everything. It's a natural outcome of our thoughts. And when we broaden our expectations to celebrate our quirks, unanticipated surprises lie just on the other side. The seed of perfection is growing. Only our judgments can block its unfoldment. As I said, when I was working on this talk, I received a call from a friend who needed some help. And I was like in my not passionate mode working on the talk, thinking, how am I going to say something that I don't even know anything about? Which, as it turns out, I do. But here's the deal. This friend called me. And when I found out what he wanted, I just, you have to laugh about the so-called coincidence. Because just when I was thinking how I have no passion for purpose, and then when he called, I was thrilled to be able to use my skills and propensities to assist with the situation. In fact, I could hardly wait to dive in and sort it all out. And once again, I'm reminded that the universe has a sense of humor as it conspires in my favor. So this is my lesson. It's easy to doubt ourselves and our abilities. Someplace we're hardwired for fear based on survival instincts. Maybe our thoughts are negative ones, and believing that someone may be out to get us, or that we're not good enough, or there's a limited supply, that blocks our manifestation. So Emerson, in his self-reliance essay, says this. He says, Pythagoras was misunderstood, and Socrates, and Jesus, and Luther, Copernicus, Galileo, Newton, every pure and wise spirit that ever took flesh. To be great is to be misunderstood. So we're never really separated from universal intelligence. We're guided in the directions we need to take. And our job is recognizing that we're not alone and that we trust in our experience. Current conditions don't reveal the truth of the situation. Those are conditions. They only show us what we've thought about in the past. And then we can make corrections along the way if we don't like where we are. Oh, and I am here, the queen of defensiveness. And defensiveness and self doubt hinder our passions and feelings of purpose. So, you know, sometimes I think, oh, no one will like what I have to offer, or it's not good enough, or whatever. And this is what blocks us. So, what we need to do, and I speak the we, what I need to do is not be afraid to take the first step in realizing that our dreams are valid and that we have a purpose for existing. And a perfect example of this is Stephanie Germata. She was bullied through school, called the germ, labeled as weird and an outsider, and she struggled to make it through. And what kept her going was her love of music, both singing and playing the piano. And she sang at open mic nights throughout high school, auditioned for many events, numerous rejections. And despite all these setbacks, she continued to believe in her passion and her purpose for being here. Maybe you recognize the name. Today, we know her as Lady Gaga, award-winning actress, singer, recognized for her philanthropic causes. She's been an advocate for mental health issues, women's causes, civil rights. Lady Gaga, excellent example of someone who is passionately living their purpose out loud. So when we step out of our comfort zone, we open to growth and expansion. We change our course when we believe in our project or dream. And we recognize that this is what we're here to do, despite how it may look to others. And as we release our perceived opinions of others, we begin to take greater chances. Again, Dennis Merritt Jones, I'm so in love with this chapter, passionate about it maybe. No, this is what he says. He says, notice that when you're happy and doing what you love to do, you naturally enter the flow of life with a sense of effortlessness, grace, and ease. And to enter the flow of life with grace and ease is to realize you need not force, push, pull, manipulate, or coerce anything or anyone to create a flow of abundance. You need only to lift and carry with you. You only need to allow it to lift and carry you, which is what happens naturally when you're doing what makes you happy, what you love to do, what is yours to do. So when you're doing what you love to do, what's yours to do, you're lifted, you're in the flow, and it is effortless and with grace and ease. Leo Biscaglia tells us this. He says, whenever we're striving to remold a misshapen world to our higher vision or simply living in dignity in spite of circumstances, we are at our very best. But here's the deal. We have a limited time in our present form with which to do that. We've given a body with an expiration date, and we don't know what time or place our physical form would transition, but it is inevitable. And so how would we live? What would we do differently if we knew there was just a short amount of time? What priorities might you reshuffle or release, including what other people think? Perhaps our contribution to life, our talent or idea could be the very thing that creates a rippling effect, positively transforming others. And we don't even know. Our energy field is always expanding outward, intermingling with others, and it might be simple actions that we offer or more complex, who knows? There are numerous opportunities available to us when we move from fear to focus, from apathy to action. Carpe diem. Seize the day. Buddha tells us, Ernest, D. Chu, in his book Buddha Soul Currency, says, your work is to discover your work, and then with all your heart, give yourself to it. Just don't wait any longer. Move in the direction of your dreams. Do simple things that naturally restore your energy. Each day, do something you love that brings you joy. And then from this place of alignment, reach for that greater self-expression. I'm reminded of the line from the poem by Jenny Joseph. When I'm an old woman, I shall wear purple. And so just take now, right this minute, into our conscious awareness, the infinite possibility. Breathing that in. Knowing one power, one presence, one infinite source. That source moving in us, through us, as us, for us. The universe is conspiring in our favor. Let us fully participate. Let us seize the day. I know that we are loved and supported in this. It is our birthright. It is who and what we are. So knowing this to be the truth, I rejoice in it. I let it be. I move with the flow of ease and grace, and I know that all is well. And in this knowing, I rest. I invite you to join me as together we affirm. And so it is.